Guys, welcome back to Ruck and Roll, and I just want to thank all of you for all the support over the weekend, everyone watching my videos and giving awesome comments. I'm trying to respond to all the comments, but yeah, it's sometimes just very busy. I'm still a working man. This is just a side hustle to do this just because of the passion I have for rugby, just like you guys. So today's one, I'm going to be reacting to two videos. It's post interviews after the Bledisloe Cup game between the Wallabies and the All Blacks. Now we know the All Blacks pretty much, I would say maybe for the first, I don't know if it's even 20 minutes, it was a tight game. It was back and forth. But after about 20 minutes, the All Blacks was just patient. They just stuck to their guns, just kept going, and eventually with that patience, they started holding on to some possession and working through phases and then start scoring tries. And then eventually pretty much, really demolished the Wallabies in many ways. It was quite a convincing win for a Bledisloe game. So first we will just go and I'm just going to react to some of the post-match interview with Ardie and Ian Foster.
We are about growing our game and building and taking big strong steps forward and treasuring each week.
And so they have been doing that.
How we balance that with change is going to be key for us. But the message will be clear, is that we don't want to compromise on the performance. And so
so just to interrupt there, the question I think was run about how do they give other players the opportunity, the All Blacks, to play. And I think, like Ian Foster says, he doesn't really want to drop his quality of play. He wants this momentum for the All Blacks to keep being the same and moving forward. So it's that balancing act of bringing new players in, but still being strong enough to keep winning and keep winning convincingly to go into the World Cup with confidence.
In the past we've often gone into that game and people have talked about dead rubbers and that. We don't believe that the Test match is ever a dead rubber. So
it's obviously talking about the last game in the Bledisloe Cup.
The Aussies will come in with their own purpose and perspective. I'm not sure what that'll be, but they'll be desperate to grow a performance.
Check Ardie how he smiles.
We want to make sure
the Wallabies will come in, but I don't know what their purpose will be. Their goal. I mean, that's pretty much just in a very polite way saying, look, don't know what you're gonna do to beat us, guys, but we're excited to see. But I mean, with that said, I think it is gonna be the second game, and it's gonna be interesting to see if the All Blacks will experiment and try and bring in some players that hasn't had enough game time really, which I believe should be the case now. I was a bit hasty in one of my previous videos saying they'd start experimenting earlier, and they didn't. So now the question is, how much will they experiment in this game? Because you'll have a really, really, Wallabies team that really will want to be better this week, and they will be better. There's no two ways about it. I think the Wallabies will come harder this week. But how much do you change that side that you don't put yourself at risk of losing? And how much does it matter to still win the game if it's the last one and you've got the silverware? It's going to be interesting to see how Foster approaches it and if he holds on to playing a lot of his starters. But I mean, we'd love to see a Mackenzie get a run again out on the field. We'd like to see some names that's not had enough game time maybe to see how they do, so we'll see.
We finish in this part of the world in a very, very strong space.
Definitely.
Just how satisfied are you as a playing group with the strides you've made and where you sit at this point of the season?
It's pleasing, and it's we're happy as a group. Obviously after tonight, but I think just what Foz said. We'll celebrate tonight. We'll enjoy this occasion and be where our feet are at. But with this group, we're never satisfied. we're always looking to be better, and there's areas in our game tonight that we need to be better. So that will come on Monday and Sunday, and we build the edge there, and every test match we put this jersey on.
Don't know why Foster laughed there, but Sunday, Monday, he's like,
the boys will celebrate it, and it's
but
a special group. We're just building.
But yeah,
like I said, we're not satisfied, and continue to grow and be better.
Yeah, guys, and that is it's also interesting what he said there, is that they're still hungry. They want more, and they're building. And at this point, the All Blacks are looking good in the way they're building. Much better than what I've seen them perform in the last 2 years from a Springbok supporter perspective. But also, I mean, I'm just a rugby lover overall. They've been super, super good, you know, leading up to this World Cup. And you can see they're building. So they can only get stronger. And as Ardie say, they're hungry for more. Now, the other one that I wanted to react, obviously a bit of a tougher one, that would be the one for Eddie Jones. I'm not going to react to the whole thing, but I just thought I'd take it a little bit out and react to it. Obviously, really tough for Eddie Jones. I mean, as much as a lot of people would get frustrated with this guy. I also think sometimes some of the stuff that comes out of this guy's mouth. But he's just trying to hype the game. He's just trying to make some kind of hype and hype up the media and the news. He loves doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, at the same time, it must be tough for a coach when you're in this position he is in right now. And you know what he is capable of, but it's not kind of pulling off for him. And he keeps making more promises and more promises and more promises. And man, it's tough, you know. When you're not careful what you say in the media, and you keep making new promises, and you keep, you know, kind of hyping things up, why did he go and release these advertisements just before Bledisloe Cup games, where they are playing against All Blacks that they haven't been able to beat even in Australia for years? Why would you go release those type of videos just before then, to kind of build some hype and say, watch us, you know, the Wallabies proving dad's wrong, and all these kind of things. We're not going for croissants to France. Those ads, I felt the timing was bad from, the Australian Rugby and Wallabies. And it just makes it more of a bit of a laughing stock for me that, you know, after what we've seen this weekend, and then ads like that coming out, it's a bit of a joke to do that at that time. And I think it's poor PR from the media, from the Wallabies, to do this right now. Might have been better when they've won a game or two to kind of release ads like that, when there's a bit more confidence in the supporters and everyone around. But anyway, let's get into this one just to see what Eddie had to say.
No, they're pretty good, mate. They played well. You know, I can't remember.
Pretty good.
Maybe 2 passes that didn't go to hand. They were patient when they had the ball, and then when they broke, they were very, very. Their support play was.
And guys, the patience from the All Blacks.
Wanga kicked well. You know, he's turning into a proper test 10, isn't he? The ability to still.
Sorry, I got to interrupt there. He's turning into a proper test 10. Muhanga has been, in the last couple of Bledisloe Cup years, demolished Australia, because he's played most of the games at 10. I remember him last year playing 10 against Australia, and he'd been outstanding. Such a good player. Now, I know what he's trying to say is he's becoming a better strategical kicker, but I mean, I think Muhanga's been world class all along. So, and then obviously the other thing is, you know, what he's mentioning there is very true of the All Blacks when he's saying patience, you know, was one of the really good things. A lot of discipline, patience at first while to wait until they can start turning the game around and take possession of that game. Hold on to possession and build through phases, which they've done very well. So all in all, good comments that he's giving it with the All Blacks, you know.
Attack, but keep the pressure on through good tactical kicking. So yeah, no, pretty good team, mate.
You meet them in the World Cup playoffs, still yourself.
Well, it was a long time till then, mate.
Not really,
20
nah.
minutes into to longer, which we're quite capable of doing.
So Eddie talks about the first 20 minutes, by the way. That's at the start of his interview. I'm not going to play all of it, but he keeps saying the first 20, they were so good. I get that they were decent. They were still not really necessarily better than the All Blacks the first 20. They were just competitive the first 20. So he goes by the first 20. He says, if we keep playing like we did in the first 20, you know, we could be a different side at the World Cup. My only thing I would say when he says the World Cup's far away, we're talking maybe 4 games before the World Cup. It's not a lot to turn this team around. But you can imagine, he's the coach. What else must he go say in the media, you know?
I'm so proud of our players, the way they've gone about their work. You know, they've worked really hard, but we know it's not good enough. You know,
no, it's not.
All the fans, it's not good enough. But
it's not.
That's my fault. That's my responsibility, and I'll take it on the chin.
I find that interesting when you say that's my fault. I'll take it on the chin. Yeah. What else can you say? I get that, but at the same time, maybe just say there's things we're going to work at, because if you keep saying I'll take it on the chin, how many more losses will you be able to take before, you know, you get Australian rugby start asking questions to say, do we want to keep this guy, you know? Yeah, I think just maybe saying that, you know, it didn't work out today, we're going to improve. But I just don't know. His PR and the way he responds to things in the media sometimes is just interesting.
We're going to have to work pretty hard, mate, aren't we? You know, Dunedin, it's going to be fast, but the opportunity's there, mate. You know, because there's the other side of it. When you win, you know, you become more vulnerable, and when you lose, you become more desperate. And whether we can turn our desperation into something that gives us an advantage over.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
We'll do everything we can, mate.
You're referring to selections.
Well, someone's got to take responsibility for the loss, mate. It's the head coach that takes responsibility for the loss.
Are you really taking responsibility?
Trying really hard, trying to play a different way, and I'm really appreciative of their efforts. I think selection was right, mate.
I don't know about your
you can if you want to.
Your fly off.
I don't mind a bit of a discussion. Okay, who would you pick, mate? Tell me who you'd pick.
Quade Cooper, obvious.
Well, I think he's the best young 10 in Australia. And I've seen Richie Mwanga play tests like that. You know, and Richie Mwanga, if you look at his first 45 tests...
Here goes Eddie. Here goes Eddie.
Wasn't good enough. That he
trying to compare the type of game that he played...
To bring young players through. And I'm prepared to go...
Try to compare, you know, the game that Gordon played to what Mwanga has played in the past. Mwanga's always been pretty good.
Yeah, we've got an unsuccessful history at the moment, and we need to turn it around. So we need to find players who can do it. That can be part of it. But it's also we've got to find players who want to give a bit more. Yeah, we just need players who are prepared to give more.
I don't know. I'll leave it at that, guys. I'm not going to react to the whole thing. It's quite a long video, but I find it interesting when he's saying we need players to give more. I don't think these players are not giving everything that they got. I think it's got to do with selection. I think he made a mistake playing such a young guy at 10 in this game. I think he should have gone for experience. We know what Quade Cooper has done, I think, last year in the Bledisloe. Quade Cooper is pretty solid. You know, he's not the young guy he used to be. Why he wouldn't start Quade is interesting to me. And look, Eddie's got his own mind. He's got his own way of going about, and he's got a very strange way of going about when it comes to dealing with press. His whole PR stunt around this whole World Cup, the way he's trying to promote the Wallabies, those advertisements that they've put out, it's all super, super weird, you know. It's weird, and it creates it doesn't create any kind of confidence in him from anyone looking from the outside. he kind of makes himself the villain in so many ways. And by making yourself the villain, if you don't turn into a success, a villain that turns it into success, it's always a great story to tell. But if you do not turn it around into success, then it's always, it doesn't come off well. At the end, you just lose. So I'm curious the way he thinks. I don't think it's the best way ever. The question now is if the All Blacks go into this game with a much more like maybe more of a mixed team of new players, and there might be new combinations, and the Wallabies obviously want to play better, go into this last game harder, but then again they're playing in New Zealand, so it's going to be tough for them. Could we see maybe a very much tighter game and maybe the Wallabies have a shot? Personally, I still don't see it totally pulling off. I think we might say a much more competitive game, but the Wallabies winning, I can't really see that. But look, that's more for discussions to the end of the week. Guys, if you enjoyed my reactions to these videos, please, if you haven't done that red button at the bottom, please do it. And I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.